Hello, monarchs and madmen. My name is TB Skyn, and welcome back to Dark Souls Revisited, where we are revisiting the last little bit of Dark Souls, which is to say we have the Lord Souls now. I believe I have taken care of all of the bosses in the game at this point, every single one. I'm reasonably sure. Which means there's only really one thing left to do, and that is to go say hello to the King of Piano Music. Although first I'll raise my endurance a little bit, because why not? Just ghosts. Ghosts. A marching endless army of Gwyn's knights wandering across the side of this bridge. And welcome to the kiln of the first flame. So theoretically, this is the heart of Lordran, right? Like, this is the core of everything Lordran is. Everything the Age of Fire is. And, like, what that means is that if this is the kiln of the first flame, if this is, like, the source of the Age of Fire, then the question you have to ask is, what is all this ash? Like, what is all of this that was burned to fuel the Age of Fire? Because that's what we're walking through here, is the fuel. Darn it. It's the fuel that Gwyn's Age of Fire consumed. And, like, this is why he's the Lord of Cinders. He used to be the Lord of Sunlight, you know, once upon a time, way back in ye olden days. That's what people would have known him as. Not so much anymore. Why are you faster at that than me? Seems unfair. But now he's just the Lord of Cinders, because that's all that's left, is cinders of the first flame. Because it's chewed through all of this to stay alive for this long. And one of the questions that you're asked to answer in Dark Souls is it worth it? Like, is the Age of Fire worth all of this? Could you fall down? I'd like it if you fall down. No? Okay. Like, how much more should be burned? Like, how many more ashes should be piled up for the benefit of this? Like, for the benefit of this Age of Fire, this mythological golden age past, to which Gwyn is determined to return. And in the way that Dark Souls is, you know, it's... I have my answer to that question, which if you've watched me play Dark Souls before, you might already be familiar with. But you don't have to share that answer. Like, it is a game that allows for that ambiguity. That either answer could be valid. That, like, even if you don't buy fully into it, even if you don't think that the Age of Fire is, like, an unalloyed good, that maybe there's something that, like, you can decide that there's something there that's worth preserving, even if it's not, you know, quite as the propaganda advertises. Yeah, you can parry that first attack, I believe, but it's a tough one. Yeah, don't do that. Ah! Couldn't get my shield up. Sup, old man? I'll figure out your parry timing yet. Let's see if I can get the timing. Nope. Too early. Ow. Come on. Okay, got a little bit of healing at least. There it is. Ish, that took a while. Ha! Got two. I think you can just kind of serial parry him, probably. Yeah, it's not really worth the heal, is it? Because he can just sort of Devil May Cry dash you. Okay, he's not pro- Ah! God damn it! I thought maybe he was programmed to do that dash when you try and heal. Like as a punishment for it, but guess not. Something interesting about Gwyn, the way that his combat is designed, is that like he is sort of, I consider him a bit of a prototype for the way that FromSoft would approach designing bosses later. In that he has the thing that FromSoft loves to do, which is like the unexpected timing, where like some of the swipes that he has are extremely quick. Like they basically come out almost instantly, like that one. And then some of the swipes he has like a slow wind up to them. And he sort of messes with you. Anyway, if you look at Gwyn, one of the interesting things about him is that he is like, he's not fully hollow. Like, not in the way that other hollows are. Because hollows, one of the things in the game is, one of their characteristics, at least the sort of completely broken ones that you encounter in the Undead Parish and things like that, they lose all of their hair. Like, they are naked corpses. Completely naked corpses. I'm sort of delaying killing him on purpose so I can talk. They are naked corpses. Gwyn still has his magnificent mustache and his regal Oh, come on! Really? Ugh. I thought I could get an attack in between his combo. Oh, well. Gwyn still has his hair. He still has his regal bearing as a king, essentially. Which is something that like other hollows don't have. So like it sort of indicates that there is like he's not fully a hollow, he's just like mostly there. But there's still some of him left in there. Like, there's still some of that sort of regal king left in him. He still has some power left in him. Some semblance of his, not really his humanity, because Gwyn was never human, but that he's not quite as lost as other hollows that you encounter. And I don't know that this is necessarily intentional, but what's interesting to me is that this is true of the player as well. Like when you die and you go hollow, or at least when you sort of like lose your humanity in the game, it's the same thing for you. Like you too have like the skin texture and you become all leathery and red and like ugly and whatever, and you look a lot like any other hollow, but you still keep your hair. Just the same as Gwyn does, which I always thought was kind of interesting. I hate that the dudes with spears are so impossible to backstab. You just can't get the angle on them. Now the question is whether or not... Because I've reversed the hollowing. Huh. Because I did save Solaire in this playthrough. I did save him. And you're supposed to be able to summon him here, I think. Or do you have to summon him for one of the previous boss fights in order for him to show up here? I don't remember. Aw, I was hoping to finish this with Solaire. Aw. Oh well. I can't get the timing of that right. There we go. Uh-oh. Whoop. Damn it. Ah, come on! I'm really feeling my Elden Ring reflexes here. But yeah, another chance to talk about his music. Because, like, Gwyn, his music is notably, like very, very intentionally, like, everyone sort of, like, you just have to type Plin Plin Plong into YouTube, and it'll give you Gwyn's theme. Gwyn's music is so specific, like, so sort of notable. God damn it, fuck off. So sort of notable to his character. And so important to it. Like, it's one of the things that a lot of players remember is, like, they've been through this game where, like, the dominant musical aesthetic of the game is like, like, lots of strings and lots of staccato, like string stabs, and, like, a lot of, like, sort of dissonance is in a lot of the music of Dark Souls, and, like, there's lots of, like, choir chanting and shit, like, just all over the place. The game is very bombastic and loud for 99% of its runtime and most of its boss themes. And then you get to Gwyn, and it's this sort of quiet elegy, essentially. It's like, it's almost like the music itself is mourning. You know? Ah, there we go. Could you fall off the side there, please? Just for me? As a favor? No? I'd like to not die, please. Really just trying to parry you. There's no need to be difficult about it. Jerk. There you are, buddy. I didn't get to do this the last time around. It would be quite nice to finish it with you. Depressed though you may be, dear friend. But no, yeah, like, this is like a quiet sort of very sad melody that just feels, it feels kind of depressive almost. Like it feels very sort of like, once there was a king and he did some things and tried to save his kingdom. Like it really feels like sort of it should come with plaintive lyrics. Maybe with like a, it feels a little bit like it could be like a ballad. Or a folk song, almost. Well, not a folk song. It has more of a classical feel. But it is one of the very notable things about it. I mean, like, a game that is so bombastic and so like, oh, you are fighting the legendary warrior who is blah, blah, blah. Hey, I managed to get it. In a game that is very much that in its vibes, Gwyn is like, this is not really a big triumphant sort of fantasy hero battle. This is you're putting an old dog down. Like it's more that vibe overall. How the hell did you see Solaire coming there? Seems unfair. Okay, R2 is not worth it. Oi, you leave him alone. There we go, buddy. You go kindle the first flame if that's what you want to do. Bye. But yeah, it's like you're putting down an old dog. Like you're not really conquering the great Lord Gwyn, the god of sunlight. You're putting the Lord of Cinders out of his misery, right? Because like he's sitting down here burning the last of his own life force, like whatever he has left, to kindle this last one bonfire at the center of everything. Like, doing exactly what you've been doing the whole game, which is, like, how do you kindle the fires in Dark Souls? Well, you burn humanity. He's been burning through whatever humanity he had, but again, like, if the fuel of this fire is humanity, then the question you sort of have to ask is, like, how much was sacrificed? Like, because that sort of brings into relief, for example, the Dark Wraiths. Why are the Dark Wraiths a threat to the Age of Fire? Well, because they can drain humanity. Like, they drain humanity. They are a threat to the resource that is needed to prolong the Age of Fire, or rather to fuel it. Because it's very literal that, like, the Age of Fire burns by burning through humanity itself. By burning through, like, the thing that in this game you can use to make yourself human again. That is the resource that, like, powers these flames, ultimately. And so, like, you do have to ask the question of, like, okay, the Age of Fire, like, what do we get? We get big, fancy, like, we get big, fancy edifices and castles and, like, fantasy Gondor kingdoms that look very cool and pretty, in which gods like Gwyn and Gwyndolin and Guinevere, all named after him, by the way, which is a spot of interesting egotism, they get to rule, they get to be on top. And it's a rule that, in Gwyn's case, was, like, perpetrated alongside, like, one of the things Gwyn did in order to win his Age of Fire was ally himself with Seath, the Scaleless. And, like, having gone through the Duke's archives, it's like, oh, okay. So part of the Age of Fire here was we give this crystal pervert lizard free license, basically, to abduct people, to experiment upon them, to turn them into horrifying chimera creatures, because he's obsessed with getting scales for himself so he can be immortal. Like, he gets to be a duke, he gets to be in power and be protected by Gwyn's strength. Like, that's one of the things that was very much a feature of Gwyn's reign, was the ascendancy of the Duke of the Archives, Seath the Scaleless, and everything that he did. Like, so what do we get in return for this Age of Fire? Well, we get a lot of pretty castles, and we get to be subjects to a ruler who, you know, maybe he did his best. Like, maybe you can argue that he was trying. Maybe you can argue that he had good intentions, maybe. But, like, this is where it led. Like, for all that Gwyn was the god of sunlight, and he slew the mighty stone dragons, and, like, he claimed the Lord Souls from the first fire, this is where it got. Like, what Lordran is now, today, is the result of Gwyn's choices. That Gwyn decided to hold on to the Age of Fire so tight, even at the cost of everything that he'd built, all of his kingdoms falling into complete ruin, being overrun with demons, and, like, people suffering from the accursed dark sign. Like, all of that is a direct consequence of the choices that Gwyn made about, like, how to manage and maintain the Age of Fire. And so the question is, like, do you think that if you set this in motion again, if you link the fire, is it gonna turn out any differently? Like, is it gonna be any better this time if we try to do the same thing again? If you do what Gwyn did and burn yourself and your humanity and all the power and all the strength that you have obtained over the course of this journey, is it gonna be any different? Like, is it gonna last this time? And if it doesn't last, is that still worth it? Like, is it still worth it to go back and kindle the first flame knowing that it won't last? Knowing that it's not going to be permanent, knowing that it's going to be imperfect, like, knowing that it has fundamental problems, but we do it anyway because we hold on to hope. Because trying is better than not trying. Because giving it a shot, like going for it and saying, no, we're going to choose to believe in the possibility that this golden age can come back if we just... like, that there can be another golden age for us, that the golden age wasn't a lie, but that it can be again. And, like, there isn't, like, I have my answer, which I'm reasonably confident in, but it's not like a clear-cut, super easy, like, this shouldn't even be a question kind of thing, because, like, it is like, it is this question of, like, do you just try it? Like, is it worth trying again? Because walking away from it all is a rejection of Gwyn's order, right? Like, it's a rejection of what he stood for, what he's like his golden age, his Age of Fire, the order of the gods, like the deceptions and the lies that they undertook. Like, even the prophecy of the chosen undead is a lie. You know, it's something that they made up in order to make undead throw themselves at the challenges over and over and over again until one of them got strong enough to link the first fire. Like, it was a convenient lie that created an engine of human sacrifice until someone became strong enough to link the fire and like sort of try to bring back the golden age. It is a thing of, like, it is a question of, like, what do you believe in? Like, do you believe that like a golden age can be achieved, that like past glories can be refound, that there is something noble in imperfect sacrifice in the way that Gwyn did it? Or, if you're more along my lines, do you believe that, no, actually, like, it was all very pretty, it was all very beautiful, but it was also an edifice to one man's hubris that put him in control and put him on top of the pile, and everybody else below him? Like, Gwyn was holding on to the Age of Fire so tight because the Age of Fire was when he got to play literal God. Like, he got to be a god in the Age of Fire, and he got to be on top. He got to be the symbol of everything that was good. He got to be in control of everything. And, like, I think that's bad, actually. I think a golden age that is so predicated on one glorious ruler, like one great leader, to rule them all and to lead the country into prosperity. I think that's bad. Like, I don't think that works. I simply do not believe that that will ever work. I don't think, like, for me, I look at this and I go, yeah, we'll just be right back here again. If I link the fire, it's gonna be this again later, and nothing will change. Like, it will be an imperfect Age of Fire, fading as more and more fuel is consumed until it has consumed everything, at which point it's gonna be the Age of Dark anyway. So, you know, why not, instead of sort of struggling against that inevitability, let's just go and embrace it and try and see if we can make something of it without the control of the gods, without the rule of lords of sunlight and edifices to the hubris of divinity, and just see if we can't, like, if there isn't a way to make it through with something new, something different. Rather than try and remake what was lost, let's try and find something new. Like, even though there's no guarantee that this is gonna work either, you know, at least it's not just doing the Einstein thing. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, you know?
My lord, bless thy safe return. Let Kath and Fraft serve your highness. We are here to serve your highness. Let true dark be cast upon the world. Our Lord hath returned.
That archaic English is so wrong. And there's the other brand of, like, the other bit of nuance there, is that as you walk away from the fire and refuse to burn yourself for the benefit of the rest of the world, like, there is an argument to be made that even in doing that, because the game doesn't really give you an option to truly walk away, you walk away and you become Dark Lord, right? Instead of reigniting an Age of Fire, you become Lord of the Age of Dark. So there's, like, where you can make the argument that, yeah, no, you're still you're still just claiming the throne and doing exactly the same thing that Gwyn did, just with another justification, you know? Instead of justifying it by, we're gonna go into the Age of Fire, we're gonna go into the Age of Dark. The game sort of refuses to allow you a simple option to just walk away. And the camera movements, especially in that cutscene, like, when you take that, like, when you step out and you see all the Darkstalkers and, like, or all the worms, or whatever they are, greeting you, there's that first step you take forward where the camera just, like, pans down real low and looks up at you, where it's like you become this giant figure striding forward. That's really ominous. Like, that's really... It doesn't help that I was wearing the Mask of the Father, which is a creepy-ass mask to be wearing. Like, it is a thing of, like, the other thing is, like, walking away could also be seen as selfish. That, like, it's more beneficial to everyone to have the Age of Fire restored, because then humans will be free of the dark sign. Humans will, at least temporarily, be free of the curse of undeath. And that's why you should burn yourself. It's like, it's an act of self-sacrifice for the benefit of the many. That is another valid way to look at it. Like, that's another valid way to see the ending, is that, like, it may not be perfect, and it might not ever turn out right, but you do this because, you know, like, the world is bigger than you. You need to... You make sacrifice of yourself so that everyone else might have a better life after you. It's another valid way to look at it. I don't look at it that way. Like I see the idea of the Age of Dark and the Dark Lord as more of a, like, you're becoming sort of a reflection of Gwyn in the sense that you are trying something genuinely different. Like that it's meant to set you up as like a dark mirror to Lord Gwyn himself, which means hopefully things turn out better than it did for him, because you are different. Like you've made a different choice. But yeah, like Dark Souls, it doesn't have any easy answers. It doesn't have any clear cut, like, oh, this is the thing that's true, definitely for sure. It has a lot of themes, and it doesn't. I think Dark Souls has a stance. Like, I think Dark Souls and FromSoft games in general are on the side of maintaining the status quo is bad. Like, I think that's where they are, sort of politically and philosophically, is that, like, just going in circles over and over again to maintain a status quo is not good, actually. And so, like, insofar as Dark Souls has a point, I think it is, like, walking away from the flame is probably more where they are, but it's like, it's a game that allows for the possibility that there's more than one answer to complicated questions, which is good. There should be. That's another successful run through Dark Souls. I think this is the fifth time I've actually completed the game, actually beaten Gwyn. Something like that. I've played it more times, like I've made like dozens and dozens of characters in Dark Souls, and like sort of tried out different builds and shit. I had a sorcerer build that I was messing around with for a while, but magic in Dark Souls 1 just isn't fun to me. But this is only like the fourth or fifth time that I've actually beaten the game. Although, of course, in a game all about cycles, obviously, you just immediately end up right back where you started. Sup, buddy? Get down here. Oh no, he hit me one time. There's something so satisfying about being able to do that. Anyway, that's the end, I think, of Dark Souls Revisited. And if you've enjoyed taking another run through Lordran with me, you can hit the like, comment, and or subscribe buttons down below. If you want to see things on this channel before they go live to the general public, you can get early access with memberships on the channel. No more Dark Souls, maybe some Dark Souls 2 at some point. If there's a mod I've been looking at, if that comes out soon, maybe some Dark Souls 2 will be happening. But other things, early access through memberships if you want. I also have a Patreon merchandise store, and a tip jar, which you can use if you want to, but you absolutely do not have to. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks for taking a little trip through Lordran with me. Remember to wear a mask, wash your hands, take vaccines, just try to not get anyone sick. Just try and get through things. And act with solidarity towards those who are worse off than yourself.